afternoon, our viewers. We thank you for being here with us every Saturday on every program here at Civic Space TV, particularly Women at the Front Lines. Here we bring you women who have walked journeys of impact, of leadership, of service to community, to the country, and would like you to be inspired by their lives. So today we have a woman who has been in the field of community work for a very, very long time here in Uganda. None other than Ellliot Orizaarwa. Did I pronounce it well?
Yes.
Orizaarwa works with the women's movement in Uganda. A great woman indeed. So today we decided to capture her story and for her to share some lessons that we can pick as women leaders, as the public that follows the work that women do. I would like to welcome you, my sister.
Thank you.
And to thank you so much for being here. I know it is so difficult to get women on the program.
Yes.
Why? Because we have multiple roles. We have so many roles we play in our families, in community, and everywhere. So getting time to have you here is a special moment. We want to thank you, Elliot, and really, really appreciate your time.
Welcome.
For being here.
Welcome.
Yeah. So for the purposes of our program, just inspire somebody with your life, because we want to just pick how you do your life, and we are going to be in a festive season. People will take time to look out for many things. So as they enjoy the holiday, we want to walk with you, with them, the journey of your life and what you're doing. Yeah, so maybe we'll just have you share how you came into this world. How did you check in? From where? Which location? And through which people? You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Monica Amoding.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure for me to be here this afternoon. And I must say that I have been looking towards this space.
Yes.
You have already mentioned my names, Ellliot Orizaarwa, but later I added another name of Tumwijuche.
What is Orizaarwa?
Orizaarwa is a long story that I'm going to share.
Yes, yes.
I happen to be born of Kabale district, of which is Ruchiga today.
Today?
Yes. In a village called Kashambia, in a sub-county called Kashambia.
There is another one in Bubende, I think.
Yes, that is Kasambia. But the one in Ruchiga is called Kashambia.
Okay.
And that's where I'm born. The good thing is I don't remember very well. I remember the day I was born, but I don't remember where. Whether it was in a banana plantation, whether it was in the kitchen.
It doesn't matter.
Whether it was in church.
You survived it anyway.
But what I know, my mother, when my mother got married, she spent 3 years without conceiving.
Okay.
And when I came to the world on 12th of May, I know I don't want to talk about my age, but yes. 12th of May, 1973.
But age is doing you well.
Yes, yeah. 1973. It was a hassle to name, as you know, the issues of naming and at household level. And then my grandfather came to say, no, she's supposed to be, we name her Atuzalirwe.
Oh.
Yes, we name her Atuzalirwe. And my father said, no, she has to be Orizaarwa. And I come to understand later as I grow why they were fighting between the two names. It's like my grandpa was still waiting for this woman to give birth. The baby was not coming. 3 years definitely in a village setting. It is a long time.
Very long time.
And then my father was like, Orizaarwa. And then I started unpacking. My name is like, whoever is born is a child. And then Elliot, as every person wonders, when they say Elliot and people are like,
why did you get that name?
You're a woman.
Oh.
No. But of which I think for me, I take it to be a blessing in a way that every time I travel and I'm looking for a visa, I don't take a minute to get a visa because I enter when someone has already rejected my visa, knowing that this is a man going to represent a women's organization. Okay. So why is he going to represent women? Oh. And when I bring my face, then the person, oh my God, I had already said no visa, but now you have your visa. Just tell us what you are going to do.
Wow.
So that's where my two names come from. I'm born with 7 children. I'm the firstborn of 7 children.
That is a great one.
Yes. 5 girls and 2 boys. One boy comes 5th.
Great. The
Yes.
rest are girls.
The rest are girls. 4 girls,
Wow.
then the boy comes.
So you are the commander of that army.
Yes.
Firstborn.
Yes.
I think you've not disappointed your family.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I have not.
Mm.
I have not disappointed them, but it has been a journey that has not been easy because my father comes to pass on when I'm still young.
Wow. Wow.
When I'm still young and from a home where your father is a breadwinner and they are peasants, but your father happens to be a business person, like the things I do today. He's in the agriculture, subsistence agriculture. He's in business, agribusiness, buying produces,
Selling.
yes, selling. He's a tailor. My father was the best tailor. You would find in our small shop a line of women and men. Some waiting for gomeses. My father used to do gomeses and suits for men, good suits for men, Kaunda suits. Wow. I remember so well. And then he was sort of like giving a skill to majority of boys in the community who would come to learn. So that's where it starts. But then definitely HIV comes, and then my father passes.
It was
on.
A season of HIV.
It was a season of HIV. My father passes on, and then I happen to be now the person to really work together with my mother to make sure that these the other siblings are taken care of, goes to school. So you are in school, you have a guardian, but your guardian gives you pocket money, but you keep it. So my saving also started from there. If you have given me 20,000 for my week, I am not going to use it.
All of it.
All of it.
Hey.
I must pack water, I must pack food so that I don't use that money.
Okay.
So that by the end of the term, I have some money which I'm going to use for my other siblings. So that's where my story starts.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a powerful starting.
Yes.
And no wonder you ended up where you are this far.
Yes.
So how did the life then take on? At what age did your dad pass on?
I was in 18.
18 years.
I was 18 years.
Okay. You were fairly up. Some people, well. Yes. Yeah, but still you had that responsibility. Now
I had that responsibility because I didn't have any option because I looked at my mother. A woman has never gone to school. She did not even know how to manage the business. The business stopped there. The business stopped when my father started falling sick. And then my mother didn't know a lot of what was happening. And definitely what I remember so well, my father had some debts. So we had even to sell some of the machines, the sewing machines, so that we pay the debt. And then we never wanted to sell land. It's not easy in Ruchiga for someone just to sell land because first of all, it is little and you have to keep it. And then the family has to ask, the family members have to ask why you are selling.
Is it communal land?
It is communal land, yes.
Family owned.
Family owned.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So it was not all that easy. But again, by God's grace, you have someone to hold your hand. And I must say that I appreciate Dr. Chikafunda and Professor Chikafunda, who happens to be my mother's brother.
Oh.
Yes, by the time my father passed on, I had already joined their family and I was at Makerere High School. So when my father passed on, my uncle had to say, no, these children can't live in the village, and he had to pick my second sister, our second born. And then later he picked my brother, the last born. Like if I've taken these three, then it means
the family can
recover, and that helped a lot. First of all, exposure. If you're a girl and you are in that community, by then, that was 1993, and you only see people who are in the village. So you have this mind that I must finish senior 4. Then after finishing senior 4, I have to either be a teacher or a nurse. Because this is what we saw
everyone doing.
Yes. We had one of the families, I know you know, Honorable Anita Kawoya.
Yes, ma'am.
Anita Kawoya is someone that would come to the village and you see light. First of all, she was brown. She was like a mzungu.
Light up the community.
Yes, light up a community. She used to speak Uganda and
Mhm.
speak English. Then her sister Joy was working with Ministry of Education. And she would come in the village and say, I want to speak to like 4 or 5 girls.
Young women.
But Elliot must be there.
Ah.
Yes. Because my father worked in their home for a long time.
Okay.
And I believe that that's where he picked my name, Elliot, because they also have a daughter. They had a daughter who passed on, who was called Elliot.
Yes.
So she would like, I want Elliot to be part. And she used to come and tell us, village life is good, but town life is better.
Wow.
So you don't need to be here, study, so that you can go to Kampala and see things differently. And I would wonder, why is she telling us like this? We didn't have phones, we didn't have TVs to see like, oh, let me see Kampala Road. I remember in S4, they gave us a photograph interpretation. And that photograph interpretation, after exams, I had guys who had already visited Kampala like, no, this is commercial bank. You see these trees here? I'm like, commercial bank? What does it mean? Is it a bank for Kamasi, or it is like, so sort of that life? But life later definitely changed. I think when
You migrated to
I
Kampala.
migrated to Kampala.
Joined university on government.
No, I have not gone to the university at that time.
Oh.
Because I came coming to join senior 5. And definitely I went to the school of the rich people, Makerere High.
I was also in Makerere
Wow,
High after you, much later.
You are my OG.
Yes, I didn't know that.
I also didn't know that.
Yes.
So you find, I must say that our headmaster, Mr. Njagara, was the best.
He was.
Mr. Sebatindra were the best. Because,
I found them as well.
Yeah, because they did not say you are from the village, go away. Oh, we want this cream, go away. But they knew how to manage.
Yes.
Yeah, they knew how to manage. So I joined Makerere High. I live in Makerere. I live in a flat. So there was that shift.
Total shift.
Total shift. The only thing I think that I missed around that time, we did not have mentors. You know, you don't have mentors. So I do S6, I have 2 principal passes, but because the people I lived with were these people who have been in Canada,
yes.
they think going to the university
is the best
you
thing.
Must have everything. I mean, you must have A's, B's. But then I'm like, my uncle tells me, so you have finished the S6. I want you to do a business course.
Wow.
And then I find myself going to Nakawa. They are giving me marketing. I remember they gave me marketing by then, the principal. And I told him I can't do a marketing course because this is going to take me 3 years as if I'm doing a degree. So I don't know why I did not go to the university and do a degree course than coming here to do a master's. And because the whole of my mind was business.
You were business oriented.
Yes. So I asked them, can you please change my course to business studies? By then Nakawa had a course called the UNBS. We used to call it UNDBS as a business study.
A diploma.
Yes. So I had to go into that. I did that diploma, but remember I was studying and making sure that my family, my mother's siblings, my mother's children must
also
be
taken care of.
Yes. So I did that. I must say that still we did not have mentors. You go to school just to get the paper.
To get a paper and finish. And be called a graduate.
And be called a graduate. And immediately, of course, my uncle was like, you must manage my businesses. So I started managing his businesses. I remember by then we had a shop near American Embassy. And we were doing well. And that's where I started my journey, I think, within the women movement. My boss by then, Mrs. Pischam Leko, you happen to know that I had completed a business studies, and by then the National Association of Women Organizations in Uganda. That is now. Okay. Had a department of socio-economic empowerment of women, but then they had an element of microfinance. So they asked me if I would come and really manage their ledgers.
Can you imagine?
Yes. So that's how I started.
Before you go there, Elliot, you see how your life was shaped. Your father was a a good designer,
Yes,
tailor,
very good
businessman,
designer.
and he influenced the things
Yes.
that you
Yes.
you did much later,
Yes.
which I'm seeing in your
Yes,
life right
yes,
now.
yes.
Even I think the responsibility, the leadership trait,
Yes.
because of the
Yes.
way you were raised
Yes.
in the family.
That is very true.
Yes.
That is very true.
Mm.
Because if I a little go back,
Mm.
I must say that I was the second girl to construct a permanent house in my village.
That is
Yes.
good. Great.
I remember the first girl is Anita Kawoya,
Uh-huh.
and the second was me. And I love that moment in a way that it changed many men's mindset.
Yes.
They never thought that a girl can do
Can
anything.
do such.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I grew up, my father saying, we are staying near the road. It's something that I never liked. Because definitely our road from Muhanga to Chisizi is a Maram road, so ever it is dust.
Busy also.
Busy and dust. And my father would like, I want to construct a permanent house there where we are living now, just near the sub-county. I want to construct a permanent house there. And he would really tell that it has to be like this. So when I started working, I'm like, I must do it. I must do it.
To complete his legacy.
It started singing
Yes.
within me. And I'm like, yes, I know I need to do a degree. I need to make sure these my siblings at least study up to senior 4, all of them. So I started working and I started paying school fees, definitely with the help of my uncle. And I said, not doing a degree until all these guys
have finished.
Have finished.
That is now you started that at now.
At now. But you know how women movement works and how organizations work. And then here now gets money for microfinancing. It's a lot of money. I only have a diploma. And staff around started asking my boss, how can a diploma holder, how people associate with education and expertise. Yes. And my boss called me and like, Elliot, I have a fear. Everyone is here. Board members are asking. And it's like, what can we do?
Because you are managing a big organization.
That's why I had to pause, because Mrs. Netune just passed on last month, but one.
Sorry.
And she called me in her office and told me, you have to go and study. I don't want to lose you in this office. You were a pillar of this organization. Because I remember when I joined in my second year, I was promoted.
Wow.
A program officer. And I raised the membership of the organization to more than 1,000 women in 5 districts of the country.
Wow.
That's how my community work started.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, what can I do? This is microfinance. There came Grameen Trust. And Grameen Trust said, we have to take this young girl for a training so that she can understand the modules, can understand how the systems work. It was a course of 2 weeks in Masindi. I did it, but still it was not enough.
It wasn't enough.
And as God works every time, Institute of Bankers introduced a diploma in microfinance.
Wow.
Said, oh, this is okay. But by then it was a lot of money. I was earning 150 per month. And semester was 800,000.
Goodness.
Yes.
So where would you have got that money?
I had to start borrowing.
Wow.
That's when my life started. I started borrowing money in 2002.
Quite young.
Quite
also.
young. And I had to pay my semesters. And this is an institution that you must pass. There is no business of like this business I hear that people can steal exams. No way. I must tell you, we are 27 and only 4 of us passed.
Wow.
And that helped me a lot. I understood how to manage risks at the organization. I understood how I am supposed to mobilize women. I learned how to train them. I learned multiple things when I was doing that course. And my life changed. My bosses were so happy. And I believe even the community that I'm working with, the women
could see a difference.
And I would advise them very well. If you are getting a loan of 1 million, don't just get it. Is it for school fees? Is it for poultry? Is it for piggery?
Yes.
But how are you planning?
What is the plan?
What is the plan of paying that money? So It was an amazing work, I must say. I still see women up to today looking for me to say thank you.
Wow.
You were a young girl and you managed to work with us. You were tough, and this helped us to pay school fees for our children.
And our children have
And
graduated.
they have graduated. I see some of their children when they even come from outside countries looking, we want to see Madame Elliot.
Wow.
My mother said it is you that made her pay back the loans and be able to come back and pay fees. So it is
So how was now working then in the 5 districts? They were giving out small loans for women,
now
just a
had
little
that
bit
program,
of understanding.
now had that program of Grameen Trust, where Grameen Trust were giving them money to lend to women groups. And this is where I met Late Hope.
Okay.
As we talk of today, 10th
Julia
of
Singura?
December, yes.
Oh, yes.
10th of December, when we are supposed to be finalizing the 16 days of activism against GBV. That is where I met Hope. I met Hope at Now. And I didn't know Hope is from our district. I didn't know Hope was coming from our village, actually, about 15 kilometers from my home. And when they asked Hope to introduce me, to introduce me to the program, because that is when Hope was going to start Center for Domestic Violence.
Yes.
Yes. And Hope was asking me, where do you come from? I said, oh, I come from Kashambia. She laughed. You remember how she used to laugh? She laughed, and I said, why is this woman laughing at me? She is just thinking that a woman, a girl, a young girl from Kashambia can't work in this organization. I started saying, oh. I asked her, why are you laughing? She said, I am laughing because that's where I come from.
This is where I come from as well.
And people in this organization may think that I am the one who looked for you to come and do this job. So she laughed and told me the story and introduced me to the program. But later, the American Jewish World Service, I met with AJWS,
yes.
came to Now, and they met our supervisor by then, Mrs. Peace Chamleku, and said, okay, if you have this program, it's a very good program, socio-economic empowerment of women. It was a program that was almost like a holistic, using a holistic approach
of empowerment.
Yes, because it had issues of hygiene and health. It had issues of bringing people together, understanding the gender dimensions within the community, within the household, and then give a loan
to a family.
To a family. So giving a loan to a family, you would definitely know whether they have a latrine, whether they have
a health stanza for plates,
whether they have onions for health issues, whether they have greens. So if those are set, then you now go into the issues. Do you need seed capital? Do you need seed capital? Of what? Of how much? Can you pay it in 6 months? Wow. So it started there. That's how now we used to work. And so American Jewish World Service gave us money for 5 districts. That is Kampala, Jinja, Palisa, Uganda, and Mtiana. By then it was the Mubende district.
Okay.
Yes. Very little money, but very
impactful.
Useful and impactful. So it helped us to definitely build those communities, but again, bring women together, because the Grameen Trust was using the groups. So that helps us again to
I like
use
that
the
idea,
system.
if you can emphasize it a little for changing our society. Because you see, our interventions need to really go down and target the most rural people. If you're dealing with health in a family, you're dealing with poverty, you're dealing with empowerment, changing the gender relations in the family, and then you're giving them a startup in terms of capital.
And then you are making sure that the members of the family know what is happening.
Look at that.
Yes, because we by then I think there was a research that was carried out on why send a cow is not creating more impact. Yes, because send a cow would come and give you a cow, but they would say they are giving a cow to a woman. But as you are aware that women don't own land. The first thing is you are going to plant the alfalfa grass, but the land where? So that would be the question.
Yes.
So at the end, The cow is for the family.
Uh-huh.
So if you don't bring the husband
On board.
and you bring the wife and the children on board, then it means this cow is not going to work.
Very
You are
right.
not, the project is not going to work. So we had to use that. Actually, I remember like in Palisa, if you are forming the group and you go to the local councillor says, we are going to have a meeting. And this is a meeting, you say you want a meeting for women. But my dear, 50% are women, 50% are men. The men would ride their bicycles, bring their wives. And you think they are going to sit aside and wait for them, those who didn't know how to ride, definitely. But men would sit there and ask them, why are you here? And the men would say, we want to know what you are discussing with our wives. And the men who really picked interest, you find that the household changed so quickly. Because the man would know that they are not going to give us money if we don't have a latrine. So the next thing as the gender roles, the man is like, let me go and start working on the program. I'm on the latrine. By the time these people come back, the latrine is there. We have the greens around. So that we don't lose the lawn.
Wow.
Yes.
So those are model villages.
The model villages in a way. So that's how we now worked in all the districts. But by the time I think I left the organization, we had already mobilized more than I think 2,000 women, because we had over 50 groups in each district. And each district had each group had between 25 to 30 members.
Wow.
Yes.
That's such great work.
Yes.
I don't know if it's still going on.
I have no idea, but I think later when I left the organization, it's you know how you connect. If you are connecting to the community, by the time you bring in a new face and the old face has not introduced the new face, it becomes hard for the project to continue.
And also it depends on the passion that people bring in, the skills.
Yes. And the interest of the people that work with the community. Yes.
I must congratulate you, because
Thank you.
the most enriching work that we do in community is transforming society. And once you're doing that, you feel satisfied as a human being. I believe that your years in now, there was a lot of transformation at community level that we can credit you for. And those are the things, small footsteps by, you know, one or
but
two
for
people.
me, I don't think I want to call it small, because I remember if you have more than 100 women in Seka Market,
for example,
and you have more than 100 women in Owino Market, and where those women feel like this is the most important thing that I want, that I am going to get 1 million from now, but I'm going to go to Nairobi and shop, and my hardware is going to fill up. I have stock.
Yes.
You know, I have stock. So it is, for me, I still think that it was so impactful.
You created employment.
Yes.
You educated people. You did a lot of things.
You did a lot of work. And again, as we talk about the women movement and talk about the issues of network and membership, members really feel they want to be part of you if they gain from you. Because before we engaged with the women in the microfinancing, women would ask you, we become members, and so what?
And then what do
and
you
that
benefit?
Question is still there. How am I going to benefit from your organization? But when there is something that they gain from, you find them coming easily. You find them paying their membership when they know there's a gain, willingly. Yes.
That's a challenge with membership organizations. You have to prove relevance to the members. But I believe NAWU has been one of such organizations that has impacted this country. And also adding your contribution to that. So how long was your contribution in NAWU?
It was 12 years.
That was a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time. I still ask myself why I spent all those years in one organization. But I must say that I learned a lot from there. I joined when I was a young girl, very young, I think, and working with old women. I call them old because they were older than me.
Of course.
I remember the first day I met Honorable Bitamazire.
Wow, she was part of the team.
Yes, she was the president of the organization. And when I met Honorable Kaziwe, and they were like, we want to see this young girl. They're telling us there's a young girl here who is doing amazing work. And I'm like, I don't want other staff to know because they feel bad. They ask them how am I getting things easily like this? And then Mrs. Bitamazire said, I am just here to see how you look, like, but I'm not going to intimidate you. I remember she had to look at her glasses,
Through her
yeah,
spectacles.
Then I'm like, okay, I didn't even know what it means by board. I didn't know even what it meant by being a president. But I must say that working in that space with different women from different levels, at national level and community level, it was amazing. I have one thing in particular. The women that I worked with by then are still my friends.
Imagine.
I enter their houses, their children know me. They are big children now, but they still believe Madame Elliot. At that age, I was Madame Elliot. The old women that really coordinated the districts, the district networks, I felt like this is the girl. And my name was picked very quickly. I would tell them, Orizaarwa, as long as I enter here, then it means I'm part of your family. And that helped me so much in terms of mobilizing.
Yes.
Because mobilizing the community, yes, I know local councillors are very, very, very good at mobilizing for you, but sometimes they mobilize their own families.
Their own families,
yes.
members, relatives.
Members, yes. But the women, in a way of organizing, they work with different spaces, churches, then families. So if you say you want a group of 25 women, this woman tells you, when are you coming? On Tuesday, you find them. You find the women seated,
waiting for you.
And then your conversation helps them to know them. You know, the conversation helps you to know them, what they are doing. If there is one that is going through gender-based violence, immediately before the week ends, you know, because the members come and tell you, she was behaving this way, don't mind about her, because she has issues
at home.
So you get to understand the community easily, better. Support. But definitely when you're a microfinancier, things change, because you have given money and you want the money to come
back.
And how is the money going to come if you only did a dealing, you know? So at a certain time, definitely the other face would come. As microfinanciers, you put a different face actually. I want my camera. Please give me my money. Please, you said you put a crato as a fridge. And you find sometimes when the fridge is already sold, you know, and you are in the house. Or you go to the community and someone said, I have a goat. We didn't have cameras
at that time
to take a picture that this is the goat. You did not even know whether this goat is hers, you know. One thing in a scenario, you find that these groups of women, you go into a shop thinking that is hers. You do your appraisal, you finish everything. At the end, when you come back to look for money, there's a different face in that shop. Yes. So those moments also came, but it helps me also to learn from one space to another that people are different. People behave differently.
Yes.
And depending from where they come from. Yes.
So I'm now looking at where you started the current women organization that you're leading, Women and Girls.
Women and Girls Child
Yes.
Development Association.
So is that when you started?
That's when I started, when I left the organization, 2009. I remember I was going to have my third born. But things had evolved. I had, by then, I think, finished my degree. How did I move from business to microfinance and then move to development studies?
Work?
Yes. I was part of the campaign of citizen participation in local governance. And citizen participation in local governance happened to be a global engagement. And because I was working in the community, I was looking at things differently. It was no longer microfinance only, or business creation and innovation.
Economic empowerment.
And what. Definitely in business studies, there are different things. It is accounting, it's cost effective, it's cost accounting, it's all these things. I don't actually know why they call it business studies, because there is nowhere you learn business apart from a course unit in entrepreneurship.
Oh, yes. It should be accounting.
It's like accounting
and finance.
So when I really need to pick it from there, that by that time I thought that I am in Sussex University.
Why?
This is where the meeting was. And in the Institute of Development Studies, And because I was reading a lot on poverty, on how to end poverty, I thought I am the one to end poverty, actually.
Of course,
when I was
because
working with those women.
Mm.
And I happened to meet Robert Chambers.
Mhm.
And Robert Chambers had written so many books. And Robert Chambers asked me, "You have never heard of Robert Chambers?" I'm like, "I have never heard of." Said, "You need to read about Robert Chambers. He has written so many books." And here we are meeting with Robert Chambers at Sussex University. And they're talking about how to change communities, how to change women, how you can bring the community to participate in governance, how they can make decisions. I'm like, what am I doing in microfinance? This is the course to do. By the way, I tell people when President Museveni is like, development studies
It's no longer
not
necessary.
For me, he gives me more energy to
Mm.
move on, because what I got from there, I must tell you, I started my journey. When I came back, I was asking, which university do teach development studies?
In Uganda.
In Uganda. But remember, I'm paying school fees for my siblings. I have loans every time. And now my salary is increased to 300,000.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I need a university where they teach, where I can learn on weekend. That's how I joined in Kumba. I went to Kumba because I want to study on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Working, I'm in a community because I will be in Mubende from Tuesday to Friday. Tuesday to Thursday. I come Friday, I do my report. Saturday, Friday, I request for money. Saturday, I'm in office finalizing. Monday, I am getting money. Tuesday, I'm going to
the community.
To Uganda. I come back, I do the same. I am in Jinja. I leave Jinja, I go to Palisa. I come back like this. I go to Kampala. And Kampala, because I had about, I think, 300 clients.
Wow.
Those about
and
like
then still
5.
be able to study on
be
the
able
weekend.
to study on a weekend.
My God.
Because what I was studying is what I was doing, it became easy for me. I would be there to discuss for people, you know, for your honorables. Elliot, where are you? Come and tell me, how do I do this? So that helped me a lot. But then I started learning. I looked at the women that I was working with. I am telling you, none of them will just listen to this story. All the people I have shared with, they didn't know what was happening with my life.
They didn't know.
They didn't know.
Because you wouldn't show it. And
what my boss wanted is to be in office, wanted me to do work, and wanted me to make sure that the project is running well.
Very well.
They didn't know that I'm selling myself in Kabaragara to get money to pay school fees. They didn't know that I have rent. They didn't know that I'm in office, but maybe I don't have transport. The money they pay me, I've already paid it too, for tuition or for school fees for my siblings.
Wow.
And they didn't know. So I sat down and asked myself, I'm leaving this organization, but I see only these women talk about developing women. And then, when are we going to develop the girls?
Okay.
When are we going to bring the girls,
prepare them
to be with women, to understand what happens? We are here saying we are talking about violence against women. Do they know that girls are also violated?
Wow.
You know? Do they know that I've gone through a lot of violence that they don't know? So, like, there is no association that I'm going to start. I must start a women and girls. And there must be the word development. Remember, I'm trying to say I don't want to see poverty. Because I don't want girls to suffer the way I have suffered. I don't want people to ask them, do you have a degree? When they don't know why you don't have it. You know? So I'm like, if I bring women together with the girls, they will sit together, have a conversation to understand themselves better and do better things
for communities, for their lives,
and for their lives,
families.
Yes, and their families. So that's how I started the organization in 2009. In 2009, I managed to register the organization, the association. It was not easy.
It wasn't, of course.
I didn't have enough knowledge on how these organizations
Remember, you have a family to take care of. You are leaving a paid job. You are starting and going nowhere.
I didn't know how they look for donors. I didn't know. I remember now I wrote only one proposal and my boss was like, how did you write it? Because as a staff, you're not supposed to know what is happening
in fundraising.
You know, it was something that I really need organizations now to learn that fundraising is
for
for
everybody.
everybody. It's not for only the top
For
managers.
programs.
It's for everyone to know exactly what is happening and how do you fundraise. So when I started the organization, of course, my mind was about training and capacity building and advocating for girls. But again, the big issue was I must see women getting loans. And the biggest department that was running was the microfinance department. And I must say that I appreciate my husband because he gave me capital to start with. And then the members, Hope was our chairperson.
Oh, board.
Yes,
wow.
board. And Hope was there to guide, to bring in books to read. And then she started introducing the SASA
program.
The SASA program. But definitely with no funds. So we do voluntary work, and that's how our journey of mentoring and coaching girls from the university started. From that time, we started bringing in 4 to 5 girls because the space was small and is still small, definitely. But then different people at the universities trusted me with their interns, because they would say, when that one goes to Elliot's office, is going to come out
a better person. Oh, yeah.
Of which definitely has really affected us. Because every university girl who comes, when this person is growing, is taken,
of course,
to another organization.
Because you've trained.
Because they have trained them. It has really affected us so much. And that is the time I think for Wodi picked me for their gender and gender budgeting training. They started building my capacity, and I sort of left the organization with other people. So I must say that I really appreciate Forwarding. I can't hide that. That I don't know the reasons why they picked me to be their facilitator, and I changed it. There was a big shift for me. I started now looking at a whole big thing. I'm not talking now only on the budgets at the local level, but I'm looking at the whole budget from the national level, understanding what is there for women, what is there for girls, and what is there for men, and what's there for the other people, you know? So my mind changed completely. I started now looking at myself as if I've never gone to school.
You are noting the importance of training.
Yes.
And learning. Continuous development
of myself. And so, like, you have been doing development work. Now you have gone into micro issues, policy making, and you know, and then Patricia and Julius tells Elliot there's a government training. You find yourself, you are with government people, you are
technocrats.
Now you are becoming a budget analyst, you are becoming a policy analyst. It's like, what hell is this? I was doing my things here.
Simple things of micro, but they are connected.
Yes,
because
now
money
you are there. So I appreciate Forward for that. And I appreciate UN Women. Then UN Women, between Forward, they took me as their champion who was coming out training on gender budgeting by then. And that's why up to today, I still believe that change takes time, but it takes you to where you want. Yes. So the organization is growing, but
you are also growing.
I'm also growing. Then when it is picking you for training, and because you have really connected a lot with the communities, with the market women, you find yourself, you are here, you are there,
you are everywhere.
And people are asking, I was bringing the issue of people asking you, Elliot, we don't understand. You are there training market women on entrepreneurship skills development. You are training microfinance. You are training gender-based violence. You are training gender budgeting. And I tell them, for me, I am Mariah, don't mind, because you don't know my story. Then when people like, you guys, I started with business studies. I went and I studied microfinance, something that I did not even share with you, and of which I think you don't know. When you find now someone is like, we are looking for someone who can really talk about climate change and financing and empowerment of women in agriculture, I'm like, oh, Elliot can do that.
Yes.
I did a diploma in environmental management.
Wow.
And then I decided to pick on gender and climate change. So when I joined Forward...
Because if you ask me to talk about climate, I wouldn't.
No, I would talk about it very very well, maybe I would say that I am interested in climate change because it is connected to agriculture, where 75% of women.
So the importance of having a versatile skills on yourself, knowledge and learning, it's very, very important. So you are able to keep relevant and be doing many things as a leader at the same time.
Yeah, but though people don't pick you well, because people keep asking, people really sometimes want to think for you. Elliot, why don't you be in one thing?
No.
Why don't you get a clear way? Maybe you stay in gender and equity budgeting.
I don't think that's
maybe
the issue.
You do. But one thing that I must share and what people must learn from is, like, if you're a development expert,
you must know this.
And if you're looking at gender and development, you don't only think that you are going to know women's empowerment
only
in one area of economic empowerment. You must understand agriculture. You must know.
It is interlinked.
Yes,
gender and agriculture,
yes,
gender and climate.
You must know
development
how
is all over.
Climate change is going to affect this woman and this man. You must know how the macro issues are going to affect the meso issues. If you don't know them, then you are not going to push things accordingly. If you don't know that if there is insecurity, if there is no
family, in the
peace,
community,
even across the world, I believe you know that the war in Ukraine
is affecting that's right.
Uganda. So at certain extent, you need to have knowledge on different things. And maybe from my learnings, those have helped me definitely. But even the experience from different organizations that I really work with has really helped me to understand how different things have really affected the women movement.
Now I understand you, Elliot, better because we meet in spaces and you don't know someone's journey, but your leadership journey, your journey of life, now we can trace it and it makes more sense. Now we've dealt a lot on your journey as a leader, how you've come. Would like to see a little bit of your impact in terms of the work that you have done now with the women and girls alongside your journey of leadership. So just to pick out those key things that you are proud of and that you'll, keep telling your children and say, I was able to do A, B, C, D. You can also do these kind of things.
Yeah, one thing.
I even know some of the things you are doing, but I want you to say it.
First of all, I think I have inspired many. Yesterday I met a girl that used to work with Arwe. Arwe is an organization in Wakiso. And she called me back. Said, Elliot, I was so happy to meet you. You are one of the women that have inspired me.
You can see that.
And I'm like, why? The times I met you in meetings, when you spoke my mind. And then when I shared what you are doing, I was amazing. I'm like, oh, that is great. So that is one thing that I'm happy with. I don't even know the number of girls that I have mentored. I don't remember. It's a big number.
It is.
Since even now, when you trace it back from now, my department was a department where they would bring interns
all the time
that are doing humanities, So you find the interns coming in. And that's why I started using the concept of love, mentoring you with tough love.
Tough love.
Tough love. I'm like, I'm not going to babysit you because I don't know how to babysit. If you want to see change, you must see it. I will just give you an example of when coming to this show. If you come to this show and you find the people that are going to capture you have no machines, then you are not going to be captured. You will talk and the air will be capturing you. And maybe you may ask yourself what you have been talking about. You can't go back to rewind. So the same thing is about mentorship. I remember one of the women in the movement were like, Elliot, mentorship has changed. The girls of today are supposed to be like, you mentor them in a babysitting way. And I'm like,
in love.
Of course,
I don't know which type of love.
Definitely I said yes, but for me, I think it has not worked for me. Like, people have gone to my office. I must say that almost like over 15 girls have started their own organization.
Already?
Yes, they have. And I have not really babysitted them. You come to my office, the first thing is to tell you that you are part of the cleaners. You will clean office.
And serve tea.
And serve tea. And you will wash utensils.
Yes.
Because I've also washed them when they are seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, please tell me what you think you can solve yourself. And if you have never written a concept note, you must learn from there.
Yes.
And definitely some university girls go back. I'm like, oh, Elliot is too tough. When we reached there, she was telling us, get 5 problems, write on the paper, fold them, pick one, then start from there. Get that problem that you have picked, write a concept note of 6 pages in your village, and there must be a budget. And this is something that I've seen where you tell someone to do a concept note and you see someone shrinking. And I'm like, you must read. I have created,
compare and see what other people are doing.
created a culture of reading. It's like you are not going to do things because you have seen Honorable Amoding talking on TV and you say tomorrow I'm going to talk. What are you going to talk about? Go read. Go understand the concept and then come and pack it for people, because for you, you have understood it differently. You know, I have seen people saying, oh my God, Madam Elliot, definitely I've stopped people from calling me Elliot. I want to remain as Elliot. You find women in the communities. From the time we started working in Wakiso, we have mobilized more than, let me say more than 1,000 women. Because our microfinancing was bringing more women to the organization. Yes. You know? And some of them didn't know that getting a loan, you must first learn. They were getting loans from Finca, they were getting loans from Pride Microfinance, from Ugaford. But you know, when you are running a microfinance as business, you don't have this time as patience, that I'm going to take you through my microfinance procedures, or like you are going to get a loan, but you need to know that it is supposed to pay it back, and you need to know that you don't just borrow. So you bring in this woman, you train the woman, but you touch other things. Yes. There's a woman who comes for a loan. By the time you start talking about how is your family, how are your children going to help you, how is your husband going to listen to this? I was like, let me first go and talk to him. And maybe they go back to talk to them and they give them money. Another impact that I might say is the time I started talking about women having their own collaterals.
Collateral security.
Their own assets. You know, not in a bad way. There's no way I have advised the woman buy land and hide it. No, because some women have bought land, decided to hide, and at a certain time, the person, even when their children are not aware that even when their husbands, even their sisters are not aware, then some other people take over. So it is about a conversation, a household conversation. I want to have land, but this land is to help me, because if I want to go and borrow money from Finca, they are going to ask me for collateral. But if both of our names are on the title, they are going to need your consent. And maybe you are in Saudi Arabia, and then the kids are not going to go to school, or we are going to lose business. But if I have my own asset, I can be able to take it easily, because it is my asset. So that has also really been it has been an open mind for different people. And I talked about the university girls, the women, and the community now. And the community. And of late, when we tried to look at looking out for donors, and we failed really to get donors that can sustain us. That is the time I created an idea, an innovative of a Support Girls shop. And the Support Girls shop also came in through a skills development, where I thought that we have our girls that have gone to the universities, but it is not only about that. You can do a skill. Honorable Monica, you can do a skill. Yes, another skill. You can decide now to say, I have been a honorable, I am a lawyer, but now I want to go into something. I want to make cream, lotion. You want to make lotion. Good lotion. Maybe you want to make chairs, you know. It is not all about you that you are going to do this furniture. Okay. It is about you to have the idea. So I have really done different innovations, and I must say that is something that I want to see it grow, because it has changed many people's
So what are you
mindset.
doing with that support girl
So
shop?
support girls shop was like, there are girls who come to, the girls that come from the university for voluntary work. But sometimes there's no transport that is enough for 6 girls. Lunch is not enough. And maybe girls really don't look nice, and you want to support them to go and work on their hair. And then there's no money. So in a way of sustainability program, we started the Supports Girls Shop, but then with an element of working and earning. And we called it the Uganda word of Kora Ofune. There is no way you are going to work if you are going to gain if
when
you are
you're
not
working.
working.
Yes.
And definitely through the school that I started with Kantari Secondary School, our motto was hard work pays. And those who really worked hard, they have been paid.
They've been paid.
They have been paid. So we did that, and like it is a journey that has really opened even some of the mothers, and you find the mothers saying, I want to bring my daughter
for training.
And it came out again of sharing, of having a conversation of one of the mothers who thought that after senior 6, she never wanted her daughters to go anywhere but to go and learn salon. And they went, learned about hair, learned about braiding and everything. And after they went to the university in the USA, and when they got there, they started braiding hair for the students.
Wow.
And the family was so scared that they would not manage fees. But the girls started paying tuition for themselves. Because definitely printing one head in USA, in America, how much is it?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
$200
Just
or more.
200 or more. So that helped me to again started rethinking, like, what can we do as a development organization? Because development is a wide thing. Development is not just in one basket, but you must have different baskets. In case one is not sustaining, you must have another basket that is growing. And that's how we started that, and that's how it works. And
so is that part of the bags that you sell?
Yes, the bags that we make, the branded bags.
Are you exporting
We have
them
actually
already?
not branded because we don't have the money for branding. So we still have the bags, sell them how they are. But I must tell you, if you go to any hotel, like some people who have really learned from us and they have started selling those bags, they'll tell you, no, those bags are for Elliot.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Elliot, I want to ask you one final question in terms of your lessons that you can share with the young people out there, the women who are mentoring. How has your journey taught you? What has your journey of leadership and life taught you? One or two things. We can't exhaust your journey today. We need more time. Yeah. But just some few things.
The journey, one thing that this journey has helped me is as a leader, as a transformative leader, you must learn how to innovate. Innovation. Creativity.
Yes.
I did not mention that I belong to an association, an international association of facilitators.
Wow.
And in that space is where we talk about creativity in facilitation. Again, in transformative leadership, you must be creative in a way and innovative in a way, because leadership is not static.
It is not static.
Things change every time.
Right.
If you have leading women today and you think you are going to lead them in a way that you have been doing it now,
5 years ago,
things have to change. Things change, things evolve, and then you have to do that.
Very important.
Secondly, I think I want to talk about the issue of being patient.
Patience.
Not jumping over things. And learn how to sit down every time to rethink.
Okay. Reflect.
Refocus again. And look at the world differently. If you look at the world differently, then you are able to know that if I am speaking to Honorable Amoding, I know how we are going to start a conversation, and I have a solution. Because what I have learned over time, women want quick solutions.
Quick solutions in this world of today.
Of
And this
today.
current generation
In current
is worse off
generation,
in
yes.
that area.
If she comes to you and maybe she's undergoing GBV issues, she wants you to give a decision and say, leave the man. You get
something quick.
Why don't you kill him? Just using those things for the issues of the solution. The solution must be there.
Yes.
That's why I'm bringing the issue of
patience.
The issue of patience. And then lastly, I think I have learned that people are different.
People are different.
People are different.
We are not the same.
Yes, we are not the same.
The world is so diverse.
Yes. The day I entered the master's class at Makerere, I thought I knew gender until I read about the waves of feminism. Different waves of feminism that started opening my eyes to understand different things in a different perspective. And I must say those things have really helped me a lot. And that's why I said now, I need now to know God, because I have seen majority of women in churches. I have seen majority of women going to church. I usually give an example of Pastor Tom in Mutundu. If you go to that space and you see the number of women that are there, I just come back to ask myself, why 85% of women in church? Is the women movement in church, or the women movement is remaining outside at the tables at Africana? How do we go into the churches to understand why women want to be there?
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So are you trying to say those are the things you're doing now? What are some of the things that you still think must happen, you must do before you leave this planet? I believe that is one area you are leading.
I don't want to leave the planet now.
You will leave at a certain point.
At a certain
time,
saying, yeah, but I will be 97.
Probably
by that time.
There.
I'm just going to be 50, so I have some good years. First of all, I am learning a lot on a godly way.
Yes.
Of why Jesus was born to a woman.
Okay.
I am learning a lot about why was this Bible written like this. I'm learning about what are these problems that take women to church. That they feel if there's anything that is disturbing them, the only reason, the only way, the only space to go is to go to the church.
Because that's a whole spectrum of things.
It's the whole spectrum of things.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I am creating, I will say this definitely, I want to start mentoring women and girls to go into hard things.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you say hard, what is that?
Hard things is, I have seen very few women making furniture.
Those kind of things.
I have seen very few women. If they say women are decorators, women are fixers, why is it that we are not fixing a chair? Because we are like, I want this type of a chair, I want this type of a bed. So I really want to go into this, and I must say that I appreciate TWAM that gave us the machines. We have the machines, we are looking out for someone, maybe honorable, to give us money to construct so that the girls can go into carpentry.
Oh, Elliot, we've got to go, but your story is certainly very interesting, and so many things we can pick from you, and where you started, almost ground zero to master's level, to this superwoman, super leader that you are in our country, in our nation. Certainly, we can say there is something unique about your life, and there is something special. So people need to pick out that and learn a few things that you can share as you continue mentoring, continue doing that and impacting lives. So we'll bring you another time. Hopefully we can discuss something else on this same program. But because of our limited 1 hour, let's stop at this and then come back another time. So for our viewer, we thank you so much for being with us up to this point. Would like to keep asking you to be a part of this journey that we have here. And I know that this is a very long festive season. Take care of our families, pray together, share together, commune together, because those are the priceless moments that we have as family, and they cannot be replaceable. Merry Christmas and happy festive season. Shalom.